Hey guys, welcome to GameChangers podcast, inspiring conversations with leaders of tomorrow. I'm Harsh.
And I'm AJ. And today on the show we have Jonah, also known as OGJONAH, one of the biggest music names in Edmonton.
Hey, thank you for having me, AJ. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming,
Harsh, great seeing you. I haven't seen this
man.
guy since high school. 4 or 5 years, but like
It's been a while. It's been a while.
We've all grown up, bro.
Everyone's doing a bit of growing up, these days.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you changed a little bit, though. I mean,
hey, bro, I don't put on a little bit of weight, going to the gym, eating more mama's home cooking.
That's good, man. That's always the best.
Yes.
All right.
So, OG, we'll start off by, I'm pretty sure most of our viewers know about you, like, you're big in Edmonton. But start off just by telling us, our viewers who don't know about you, a little bit about yourself and how, your accolades in the music industry.
Like you said, my name is OGJONAH. I've performed all across Canada. I performed Vancouver all the way out east. I performed down in the States. Done shows with Lil Mosey, Bad Baby, WizKid, and many others. I've dropped 3 studio projects along with over 30, 40 singles. Dropped 20 to 25 music videos, all independently, all since 2016. YEGMG, this my hoodie that I'm wearing, is my label that I started up back in 2016. I see myself as a musical mogul, not just a musical artist. So I started this label up as something to represent the city, something for artists who are coming up to come and join, for them to look up to as a beacon of hope in a sense. When I started making music, I didn't know any other big rappers from the city, let alone any that were claiming the city. People from Edmonton like to dissociate themselves from being from Edmonton, but I fully embrace that because I am proud to be an Edmontonian. I'm proud of where I came from. I'm proud of my roots, my city, and I want to make something for the entire city and the entire country to look at as a model and a benchmark to follow.
That's dope, man. Putting on for the city and like blazing this trail for up and coming artists. So before we get into, I guess, like your present doings and how far you've come with YEGMG, I want you to take us back a little bit. Did you always have like a love for music growing up, or how did that come about?
I always did have a love for music. I wrote my first rap actually when I was in grade 3. It was just a little joke rap, like I was with family on a little Banff trip, and we were stuck at Tim Hortons during a blizzard, and I just wrote something like, "Yo, my name is Clinton. My friends call me Tintin. If you see me on the street, wave to the beat."
Hey, okay.
But then after that, I didn't really dabble much more into music until after I graduated from high school. My homie Quota, Quinn, shout out to Quinn, yo. He got a laptop. He got a laptop and he hit me up with GarageBand. He's like, "Yo, check this beat out I made. That's freestyle on it." So I went over. We had the little headphones, the iPhone ones, and we freestyled on that. Dropped that on SoundCloud. People started messing with it. A few months later, I dropped my first music video. And when I dropped the first video, that's when I really took music seriously. We dropped that video, and the same night we went out to the ranch. I don't mess with the ranch, but whatever. Good thing they're close. We went to the ranch. And that same night, like, we dropped the video a couple hours before, and people were already coming up to us being like, "Yo," and like saying the lyrics, saying the hook to us, and like just showing us love on the video. And I was like, "Yo, like, this is crazy, the reaction that I'm getting from people who usually wouldn't talk to me or would talk to me in different circumstances are showing appreciation for what I'm just doing kind of out of fun." And then I'm like, you know what, this is something that I really want to do with the rest of my life. This is something I can see myself settling in. And that night when I went to bed, I haven't told anyone this, bro, but like, I swear I had a dream, and it was like, yo, this is what I'm on this earth to do. And like, I played hockey, at really high levels. Like, I was in university. I've done many things in my life, and never has there been a time where I like hear a voice telling me this is what I'm meant to do. So after I dropped that first video, started taking music way more seriously, and now I'm sitting here with you guys talking about it.
That's dope, man.
For sure. I mean, thanks for being on, and I think that's really insightful what you shared, and I think that light bulb just went off for you, and it's that feeling of when you just find your purpose kind of thing, and it seems like that's what it was, and now you're just on your path, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I hope best wishes to you, and you've done some amazing work in the last couple of years, and long ways to go, but just getting started, and I think putting Edmonton on the map, and slowly collaborating with other artists. You've done some amazing work.
Thank you.
So take us more into detail, like, so I guess you said growing up you didn't really mess with music. you didn't mess with making music as much once you actually graduated high school, right?
Yeah.
So how did that come about in terms of like breaking into the industry then? Because a lot of people, you kind of see them like they've been kind of making music since they were young or whatnot. How did you end up breaking into the industry then? Or how did that go about? Tell us about that, like your early beginnings.
I've always been stubborn.
Yeah.
And I always like to find things out my own way. If I see someone else doing something and I want to do it, I'll figure out a way to do it, whether it's learning from them or learning on my own. Because the way I see it, if a fellow human being is doing it, I can do it because I too breathe the same air that they breathe.
Yeah.
So when we first started making music and dropping our videos, the next step was to do shows. And I didn't know anybody in the Edmonton music industry. The only name I knew was Tough House. And I was from one of my friends who had made a couple songs, and he's like, yo, I recorded at Tough House. So I took myself down to Tough House, met the owner there, Orville, Havana, shout out to Havana. He throws shows, you know, so he put me on a couple of his shows. And from being on his shows, I built up my stage presence, built up my confidence, and was able to branch out. And then from being with Tough House, I said, okay, I want more. Reached out to the higher up promoters, reached out to bigger venues, and just kept going up the ladder in the Edmonton music industry to the point where I am opening up for names such as Burna Boy, WizKid, all these sold out shows. I'm being contacted to open up for these shows. So it's just been a steady progression of being consistent and being hungry. For my first show when I performed at the Needle in downtown, it's no longer called the Needle, and then to performing at Union Hall, and to one day when I'm at Rogers Place and doing world tours. I'm never satisfied. I'm always trying to get to that next level and figuring out who I need to talk to, being persistent, emailing people, calling people, going places in person, because lots of people that you want to reach out, no one wants to, not no one, but most people don't want to carry you, you know? So you got to show them your value, show them your worth, and show them that, look, I'm going to do this with or without you, so we might as well do this together and benefit the both of us.
Wow, that's really deep, man. And I think what you shared about, you know, having a motive and I guess staying focused on your purpose, and sometimes you have to make sacrifices for it. And whether you said obviously staying focused and you know other sacrifices, but even just social sacrifices you have to make, right? And like you said, removing some people from your life that just aren't just helping you grow anymore. And yeah, I mean that's awesome, and it's definitely something that most people don't realize. Lots of like really difficult you know cutbacks you have to make.
Yeah.
So I mean, going into transition from that, I mean, we definitely want to know about when was a time when, because you've mentioned some stories about you really getting that feel of fame, right? I mean, not I know you're not the most bashful, but do you want to have some stories to share? And I guess maybe also when did you feel like people were really starting to realize who OGJONAH was?
I have so many stories, man. Like I'll be at the mall, even I'll be at West End Mall, and I'll go on my Snapchat because my Snapchat is like anybody can send me a message, you know. And I'll see people taking videos of me, and I'm like, yo, why don't you just come and say hi? Well, most recent story is like a couple months ago, my little brother had a track meet at Skona, Rolly Miles, you know, for
Oh
cities.
of course,
and I was there to support my little brother. You know, I'm his biggest fan.
Yeah.
And literally before I even got to the stands, like kids are like crowding up along the fence. Yo, that's OGJONAH, that's OGJONAH. And then different kids from different schools, from Northside schools, from Millwood schools. Yo, can we get pictures with you? Can we get pictures with you? Coaches don't even know who I am, but they're like, yo, we see the kids taking pictures with you. Can we take a picture too? I'm like, yeah, for sure. I like took off my chain. I let a couple coaches like hold and wear the chain, you know? Like, so things like those just really solidify what I'm doing. I'm not doing this for fame. You know, it's never been a fame hunt. I'm doing it because I'm passionate about it. I love it. I want to make a positive difference. I want to change the community. I want to change my family's life. I want to change my own life. However, the fame does come with it, and it's a blessing that I'm able to use my fame in a positive light, because lots of these kids, they're, you know, junior hires, high schoolers, very malleable minds. They're at that influential stage in life, and every time I get to interact with a kid who wants a picture or something, I'm like, yo, like, stay in school, don't do drugs, listen to your parents, listen to your teachers, all that stuff that people might brand as cliche, but it's real, because I wish when I was at that age, I had someone to look up to who said, yo, stay in school, A, B, C, D, don't do certain things, because I was
Because you're curious and naive, right?
Exactly.
Basically,
You're
that's it.
curious. You're curious at that age. If you don't have the right guidance, that curiosity may lead you down the wrong path, and you'll have to learn the hard way. So if I could save even one person from going down a path that I went down, my job's complete.
And I think we're going to see a lot of that in your music too, because you mentioned, your motives are changing. Yes. What you're going to talk about is changing in your music. Yeah. And I think you just have this energy of just showing love to people, even in your community, right? Yes. What you're doing with YEGMG, trying to build a community for artists, and even in public, just giving out good knowledge, good support to these, future future entrepreneurs or future artists, whoever they may be, and just supporting them and giving them right guidance, right?
Exactly. It's all about giving that guidance. Like, I'll have people message me, kids message me all the time. Hey, bro, I just started making music. It would be in the world. Actually, I'm gonna tell you this one story. This one producer hit me up like a year ago. Hey, I started making beats. It mean the world to me if you can listen to my beats. I don't think you're ever gonna open this message. Now to this day, me and that producer have maybe like 10 songs out. Wow. On my last album, he made like 2 or 3 of the beats. We did a whole EP together. Shout out Samuel Milne. He's from Sherwood Park, a high school kid. And lots of these kids, like, I love that they're so hungry at such a young age. Because if I started making music when I was 15, 16, Lord knows where I would be right now. Mm-hmm. But these kids are really doing it at such a young age. So every time I always will try to reach back to them, like, yo, like, send me your music. Let's work up. Let's link up. Like, I'm a fan of you. You're saying you're a fan of me. I'm a fan of you. Having such a good mindset at such a young age, knowing what you want to do with your life and having the skill set, the talent, the work ethic, everything to do it. So I love supporting those young kids coming up. It's all about the support, because they're the kids who are supporting me. I want to show that same support back to them, and whether we continue working together in the long run or not, they're going to have that experience, whether no matter how long or short our experience is, they're going to have that and be like, look, this guy was able to show me a few things about the music industry and the creativity side of it, and those things will last with them.
So this whole thing about giving people a chance, do you have a moment of when you're coming up, somebody took a chance on you? Do you have a story of that really resonated with you?
I do. I want to go back to Tough House, to Havana. He gave me a chance on those first few shows that he did with me. They weren't huge shows by any means. There were maybe like 100 people there. Half the people were probably my friends, people I'd invited or sold tickets to. But he gave me that chance, the opportunity, because he saw my drive, he saw my hunger, and he allowed me to gave me a platform to grow. Helped me out a lot, taught me a lot of things, so that when I leveled up, went to the next stage in my career, I had all of that as a foundation. Learned a lot from it. So Havana with Tough House is someone who I give a lot of props to for showing me a lot of the ropes.
Yeah, so and it's even greater to see you like reciprocate that, really, because a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people appreciate it, but they don't actively look to give back, and that's see you doing that just dope, man. So we want to switch gears a little bit. So tell us a little bit of the switch. So tell us a little bit about Clinton that people wouldn't know, not OG, but Clinton himself. Like what's something people wouldn't know about you?
Well, most people don't know that I played hockey growing up. I played for SSAC, like 2 years BAM AAA, 3 years Midget AAA. I played out in Camrose for the Alberta Junior Hockey League. Like I said earlier, took the bus until I graduated high school. Asked my teammates. I used to take the bus to games. Like, I'd pull up in like dress shoes and a full suit and tie, -30 weather, like hockey bag over my shoulders, hockey sticks in my hand, like to the game. So what most people don't know about me is that I love people. I love making connections. I love talking to people. I love helping people out. I'm a really easygoing guy. Like, I like to think I'm funny. My girlfriend doesn't think I'm too funny, but I get a couple laughs. I like to think I'm a funny guy. And yeah, I'm just all about giving back. I'm Nigerian. People always think like I'm Jamaican or something. I'm not too sure why. I love jerk chicken, and I love my Jamaican people. But I'm a Nigerian, like growing up, I grew up in the Nigerian community. Like to this day, I still go to Nigerian events. There's like maybe like 5, 6 events every year, excluding like weddings and family family events of the whole community. Like they throw big events. There's actually one a couple weeks ago. I was there with my girlfriend, so I'm very tight knit in my community. Like I respect my elders, my uncles, aunties, all my cousins, everybody. Um, I love basketball. I love playing basketball with my little brother. You know, I like to think of myself as a little coach. You know, coaching up the next LeBron James. Like my little bro, he's quite the baller. Football, basketball, track. He's a phenomenal athlete. So I love watching him play sports. I love playing sports with him. I like cats. You know, I have to low key say I like cats more than dogs. Doesn't mean I don't like dogs.
Hey,
I like dogs. You know, I've had a dog.
I got a dog too, bro.
I like dogs, bro. I had a dog last year, but like I like cats. You know, cats are just chilling. You know, they're just chilling. They do their thing. They're low key, low maintenance. I like that.
Hey, bro. Don't be chasing that.
That
That should get you in trouble, bro.
You gotta make me sleep on the couch, bro.
No, Clinton's girl, nah, he's chill, nothing like that. Yeah, off camera, only off camera. We talk about that shit. I'm just kidding.
It's all good. But no, you know, I'm a mama's boy.
Yeah.
I love my mom. Literally, like I talk to my mom like every day. You know, like she calls me every day. Like if my mom doesn't talk to me for like 2 or 3 days, she'll call me like, "Are you okay? Like I haven't talked to you." So like, you know, I love my mom. I'm best friends with my sisters. Both of them live in the States. They're doing their thing. Shout out to my big sisters, Emma and Blessing. Go check them out. Go check out Blessing's new company, Ladies Blood Box, for her. You know, we're gonna have the link in this video. But you know, I'm family oriented.
Right.
I love my family, and that's what makes me like love other people, because we're all part of the same human family. I see a fellow artist. We're part of the same musical family. Doesn't matter that I've been making music maybe for a little bit longer than he has, or done a couple more shows than him. We're still on the same level. We're all part of the same family. So those are just a few things about myself that I want people to know.
For sure, man.
Thanks for that personal touch, man. That's cool. Like it's just stuff people wouldn't know, right? And we're giving you this platform to see that human side of you too, right? Not just the artist side. But I want to come back a little bit to, I guess, tell us a little bit more about YEGMG. Tell us about your company that your music label that you started. What was your inspiration behind that? And like, just go on about that. Your inspiration and what really prompted you to want to do that.
So YEGMG was started by, I have to give props again to Quinn, you know, shout out the man Quota. It was started by him and I. Here, I actually have the original logo tattooed on my arm. Quinn drew this logo in math class. This is if the camera can see. This is the original logo, YEG. And it used to be called YEGs, you know, it was like YE-G apostrophe S, you know, like Edmonton G's. And then over time, I changed it to YEGMG. The inspiration for the name was not just the city, but like I am a big Lil Wayne fan. You know, YMCMB. You know, so like YEGMG. That's kind of like where I came with the 5 letters for it and all that. But the true inspiration was to be an icon in the city and not just my face, because I started rapping like with a couple friends and we were all rapping together. It wasn't just OGJONAH. We were all rapping YEGMG. And I had the mindset that creating an idea, creating something like YEGMG will go further than I can as an individual, because only so many people might rock with me. People might have their qualms with me for whatever reason, but if it's an idea and it's something larger than myself, more people are going to rock with it. More people are going to want to support it. I'm going to want to help bring it to life, and that's really why I wanted to create YEGMG, something for every artist in the city to look up to. I've worked with so many artists in the city, whether we have songs together, whether they've come to my house and I recorded them, whether they've hit me up and I've directed them in the right ways to go. And I love doing this stuff for people. I love being able to help, because these are all things I didn't have, you know, I didn't know where to go when I first started. I didn't have someone who I could hit up, be like, hey, how do I do A, B, C, D? Where do I go for A, B, C, D? I had to do trial and error. I had to spend a lot of time and money and a lot of mistakes to figure out what paths to take. So that is kind of the inspiration behind YEGMG, is just to create something iconic that the whole city can get behind, the whole city can support, whether you're an established artist or a new artist, something that, you know, encompasses all of us and represents the city at the same time.
Right. So take us, I guess take us a little behind the scenes of like the business side of the music industry, because everyone sees the songs you put out, everyone sees like the music videos, right? But what's the business of the music industry like? Like what goes into, I guess just break down the business, because personally I have no idea like what goes on behind the scenes.
The music industry is like 80% business, 20% music, you know. And right now I'm spitting straight facts. So if you're an upcoming artist, listen closely. The first thing you should do when you start dropping music is register your music through a platform such as SoCan, so that you can be getting your royalties not just from Spotify, but if your music gets played in a club, if your music gets played on YouTube, anywhere your music gets played, you can get that. Also, YEGMG, it's trademarked. I spent $1,500 to get a trademark. The trademark lasts for 10 years, and it's also registered, and it's incorporated all under my name. So if you're an artist and you have a brand, you have a label, even your own artist name, go get it registered, go get it trademarked, because if you truly believe in it, you never know. Someone might down the road try to steal it from you, try to, you know, leverage it against you.
Yeah.
Something might happen. You gotta go and get your music Spotify, get it on Apple Music, on YouTube, SoundCloud. SoundCloud is great. SoundCloud is really good. And even if you have your music on Apple Music, doesn't mean you shouldn't have it on SoundCloud. You should get your music on as many places as possible. What's this one? I can't remember right now, but there's all these different like web streaming services that aren't as big as SoundCloud and Apple Music, but people still have Napster, for example. You know, Amazon Music. You gotta get your music everywhere. I have fans who listen to my music on so many different platforms. Some of these platforms I've never even heard about until they hit me up, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta get my music on there. Make sure that each song you have to individually go through and register after you post it. Make sure that you have your lyrics on Genius so that people can go and see exactly what you're saying, so there's no misinterpretation.
Do you upload those yourself, the lyrics?
I do everything myself. Well, I don't like engineer myself, but my lyrics, all this business stuff I'm telling you, like this is all stuff like I do myself. Like I watch YouTube videos, I self-educated myself on how to do these things, and a lot of artists don't know how or don't even know where to begin. But these are all things that need to be done in this music industry. You have to have a good network, because your network is your net worth. You have to be a people person. If I'm having a show, you're not gonna want to come to my show if I don't even give you the time of day, if I don't even talk to you. But if I talk to you and you're my friend and we truly relate, you're more likely to come to my show. You're more likely to buy a ticket, buy my hoodie off of me. You don't need to have 1 million fans. You only need those 1,000 true fans. If you have 1,000 true fans who will buy your music, buy your merchandise, buy anything you're doing, you know, buy into you as an artist or buy into your brand, whatever it may be, you're more successful than someone who might have 100,000 followers on Instagram, but their fans aren't truly engaging with them. Their fans aren't buying their hoodies. Today even, like I went and I sold like $200 worth of merch today. I was driving around selling merch, and my merch is flying off the shelves. And it's because I'm just personable with people. People hit me up, like I take time out of my day. I'll just talk to them, like on a bro-to-bro level, whether you're buying my hoodie, whether you listen to my song or not. Like at the end of the day, I really don't care. I just care that you can at least go and say, yo, like that guy's cool. Like I had a good conversation with that guy. That's the thing that matters. So those are all business tips that I could give to any up and coming artist right now.
For sure, man. And for those that are watching, we're definitely going to be doing a giveaway with some of OG's merch as well. So we're going to collab that. So stay tuned for YGMG merch coming out in a giveaway. But yeah, I think as you were sharing before too, lots of really specific detailing going on behind very, very minute things, but it all builds up together, right? And you don't notice, Genius lyrics, different platforms, all those little things, trademarks, all the business side of it, and lots of new artists don't realize it. And I think you also have to understand the legalities behind it, and also make sure you're safe in that sort of sense too. And I think for those that are watching. Even Clinton mentioned this before. I feel like he's just such a supporting, I think, character in the music industry, especially in Edmonton. I think for any new artist, whether even you're in fashion or you're in production or you're just a rapper, you're a singer or anything. I mean, YGMG, great network of people. a great connection through Clinton. I'm like from his energy. If people that are watching, you can definitely tell he's definitely going to help you out. You know, definitely a leader for future generations and just the younger generation now.
Thank you. Yeah, and one more thing, anyone watching this and any sort of creative industry or any industry at all, feel free to hit me up. My information will be available either throughout this video in the description somewhere. So feel free to give me a message, shoot me an email, hit me up in the DMs, whatever questions you have. I'm here to answer them.
For sure, man. Thank you for that.
So thanks for sharing the whole a little bit about your personal self and the business side a little bit. Let's switch gears a little bit to the music side. So, what do you think makes you unique as an artist? Like, why are you getting ignored?
He's OG, fam. He's the OG. What do you mean? He's the OG. He's been OG for 5 years, man.
Straight up, longer, bro. Before I started rapping, bro, I was calling myself OG, bro.
Okay.
I think what separates me from a lot of artists is I'm genuine. People can see I'm genuine. Even if you don't like all my songs, even if you don't like all my lyrics, you can at least say, okay, like this person is at least speaking their truth and they're staying true to themselves. Like I've in the short time I've been making music, I've seen artists come and go. I've seen someone makes a video today, tomorrow I don't even hear from them. Next tomorrow, it's like they fell off the face of the earth. Someone will be rapping today, even from our own city. Someone will be rapping today. Tomorrow they'll dye their hair pink. Excuse me. Next tomorrow they'll dye their hair white. They'll put blue contacts. They'll put green contacts. They'll do all sorts of stuff like antics just to gain attention. And I've never really been a fan of that. I'm like I said earlier, like I'm stubborn. I'm prideful in a way, and I just really want to stay true to myself. Whatever my truth is, good or bad, I always will stay true to it. And I feel like that is what separates me from the masses of artists out here, because I don't care to be famous. Like, that's not why I started making music. I care to get my story out there, change my life, to be a real person. I want to show people, look, some kid from the south side of Edmonton who used to play hockey and then got into other things and began making music can make something out of himself, and you can too. Whatever your story is, whatever your background is, it doesn't matter. Your past does not define your future. That's rhetoric that I truly believe in, that I tell people. So those are all things that I think differentiate me from many artists and have allowed me to have more success. And also like I went to school for a couple years. I'm going back to school in September. My dad has 2 PhDs. My mom has her master's. So I come from an educated family. So being able to hold a conversation and carry out ideas, just that goes a long way too when I'm in front of certain people, in front of venue owners, promoters, whatever it might be. It's like, okay, this guy's not just some high kid. He actually has a brain on his head. So those are all things that separate me from many artists.
And I can, like, just from this conversation alone, I could definitely attest, like, the mindset, I feel like that separates you, like that differentiates you from pretty much probably every other artist, because you're just focused on making music, and then you're focusing on the business, and you're focusing on like how you give back, and that's very rare, to be honest. So give us a little bit more, like, how did you cultivate this mindset, or how did you cultivate just this worldview, really? Because most people, I guess the stereotype of the rappers is like they just make music, get high, things of that sort, right? So how did you break that shell or break that stereotype?
Just going through life experiences, man. Like when I started making music, yes, we had YEGMG, but even still, I like YEGMG, and I made it to be something to encompass a city. But when the people I made it with, the people I was rapping with, we kind of all fell apart. I retreated back into my own shell, I became ignorant. I became that stereotype, just like, screw the world, I don't care about anybody, I'm just going to do myself. And like going through that stage and going through other, traumatic things in life have brought me to the conclusion that, look, we're only on this earth for a finite amount of time. How do you want to be remembered? If I were to die today, I don't want to be remembered for, oh yeah, he always smoked weed, or oh yeah, he rapped about popping bottles or wasted money on designer clothes. I don't want to be remembered for that, bro. I want to be remembered as, oh, he helped me out. Oh, he was a really good person. He was a great family person. I want my little brother to be like, oh, you know what? He did everything he could to be a model big brother for me. Bro, I literally tell my little brother, I'm like, look, I want to do everything for you that I wish someone did for me. I wish when I was 13, I had someone buy me clothes and shoes, so I didn't have to go to Value Village or garage sales to be getting shoes. On God, bro, every pair of Nikes I wore in high school were fucking from Value Village or garage sales, bro. Like, I want to be someone who is remembered for the right reasons and not just remembered in a flash and forgotten for all the wrong reasons. I want to leave a difference, an impact on this earth. Like, I have family members in Nigeria. Like, both my parents combined have 17 siblings. All their siblings have kids. Some of their kids have kids. I have a big family. I have a lot of people looking up to me, seeing what I'm doing. And every day I wake up, I just want to do what I can to make the world a better place. And I know that starts from within. That starts from making myself a better person so I can in turn reciprocate that love, that goodness onto whoever I'm interacting with. So those are all things that drive me, that motivate me, that help me to formulate this mindset. I enjoy watching YouTube videos, but like not just stupid videos, like videos on self-empowerment, self-growth, videos about the world, things that are going on, like real things that people shy away from watching. People don't want to watch. People would rather stay in their shell, whether it's a shell of ignorance or a shell of just, believing what you want to believe and not expanding your mind. All these are different things that help me these are all different obstacles that I overcame that helped me to come up with this mindset that I have today.
Wow. And I think a couple of things you mentioned to take away from there, very insightful and very meaningful. You mentioned investing in yourself, right? And that concept of, having your cup full before you can give to others, or before you can do, try to give to others and give that energy out, because you don't want it to be, half cup filled, right?
Exactly.
So investing in yourself, and you said, spending that time even through media or using those resources like YouTube, stuff like that, to grow yourself as a person, right? And some other stuff you mentioned, even about getting your shoes from garage sales and things like that. And I mean, it's experiences like that really make you who you are when you have that awareness, right? I think awareness is so key. When you have that awareness of the bad, and I guess maybe like difficult times, then you learn to appreciate the good, right?
Yes.
And even now, I think, like, who would have known that, right? Who would have known OGJONAH used to wear Valley Village clothes? Like, people don't see that, right? People don't see like the struggles behind it, and nothing to be shameful about. I think those experiences really craft you into who you are as a person.
They did, man. They really did. Even I have this one poster, actually, like, because I used to, frequent Value Village everywhere I go shopping, straight up. I got this one poster, and I still have it. It's the sickest thing I ever got from Value Village. I got it in like grade 5. My dad gave me $10 to spend at Value Village, and the poster was $2. It's like a big, like, Michael Jordan poster. That's after they won the championship in 1997, and it has like each year before that they won. Like, he's like holding the
one he's hugging the trophy.
No, it's not the one you think, because you're probably thinking of the one he's like hugging and crying. It's not that one. It's like him and Scottie Pippen, and they're both like holding the trophy like on the court. It's the sickest thing. I still have it hanging up in my studio today, But the hard times, you have to know how the rain feels to appreciate the sun. Like, if I didn't go through what I went through in my life and continue to go through on a day-to-day basis, I wouldn't know how to give back. I wouldn't know how to help somebody else. So I really embrace my struggles, and I encourage people, whatever your struggle is, embrace your struggle. Don't shy away from it. Embrace it. Try to make it the best you can, and you're going to come out of it a stronger person, and you're going to be able to help someone else, even if you're not, on have the same platform that I'm blessed enough to have. You still have a mom, a dad, maybe siblings, maybe friends, coworkers. There's still someone in your life who can benefit from you being strong and you being able to pass down that to someone else. So that's what I have to say to the people.
For sure. And lots of people get that confused with being selfish, and it's not really being selfish. You're just self-investment in a form of self-love, right? And when you finally become, trying to fulfill your potential, get as close as you can, only then you can start giving, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think going off of that, I think definitely want to come back to your music. And you mentioned some key factors that have been, crucial for you to be successful. You mentioning, I guess, consistency. You've been doing it for a long time, and you mentioned people, they start getting into it. They want to look the part, but they don't want to actually play the part, right? And I guess, simplicity. Focusing on the craft and not just, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna focus on my music. I'm gonna focus on my business. I'm gonna focus on my own personal side of my mindset, right? Growing those factors,
Right.
and I think all of that just really is really key factors. And taking from that, I think just really wanted to ask you, what does it take to be successful in the music industry?
It takes having tough skin, because you're gonna get a lot of no's, you're gonna get a lot of disappointments. You have to. The only person you can expect something from is yourself. I can't expect you to do something, even if you're a photographer, for example. I can't expect you to want to come take pictures of me, and even to say you do come take pictures of me, I can't expect you to get the pictures back to me ASAP, whatever the case may be. That's maybe more of a specific example, but the broader thing I want to get there is you can't expect anything from anyone other than yourself, because you can't control other people. You can only control yourself. So you have to have tough skin. You have to have zero expectations for anybody, because at the end of the day, everyone's going through their own. Everyone is trying to grow themselves as a person or as a brand, or they're going through their own struggles. They got their own bag of whatever it is to worry about. They don't give a crap about what you're going through. So you can't expect them to want to care about what you're going through. You have to hold yourself to high standards. You have to be consistent. You have to believe in yourself more than anyone else does. If I make a song and you ask me about my song and I say, it's okay, you don't have to listen to it. You're not gonna listen to it. You're gonna say, okay, whatever. This guy doesn't like his own music. Why would I listen to it?
Exactly.
But if when I'm here talking about myself, my music, and you see my confidence, my charisma, you're like, okay, I want to go check this guy out. I want to go see his music. I want to go listen to him if I haven't already, because you have to believe in yourself before anyone else will. When I dropped my first music video, bro, I moved out of the house when I was 17.
Oh wow.
I dropped my first video, I think maybe I was 18 or 19. And when I first came to Canada, we lived in Mission Park before we moved. So I went back to Mission Park, shot a video there. I'm sipping lean and all sorts of good shit, whatever. My mom saw that video and she called me. She's like, "Yo, since she didn't know I was rapping, first of all, she's like, since when you rapping?" And she was crying. She's not tears of joy. She's like, "Yo, I'm so ashamed that this is what you want to do and this is how you want to portray yourself." And I'm like, "Look, Mom, I love you, but if you're not gonna support me, that's okay. I'm still gonna do what I love doing." And now to this day, everywhere I go with my mom, she say, "Hey, my son's a rapper. My son's a rapper." She's my biggest fan, yo. She's literally my second manager, if you want to say that. She is in there for me. She's calling around, calling back home to Nigeria, calling networks, trying to make connections for me, trying to do so much for me. And it's just because I believed in myself. So many other people, I've turned haters into fans just by believing in myself and just by staying positive. So staying positive, believing in yourself, having tough skin, not expecting anything from anyone, and staying consistent. Those are 5 tips that I want to give to anybody who wants to be an artist, anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur, anyone who wants to be successful in life.
Anyone who wants to be a game changer.
Exactly. Anybody who wants to be a game changer should stick by that.
Exactly.
And you're going to change the game sooner or later.
Exactly. And I think we've noticed this as a pattern of guests too. It's like a mindset, right? And that's why we call it Game Changers podcast, because it's a game changer mindset. It's a purpose mindset. It's a success mindset. It's a pursuit of happiness mindset, and it's consistency. We see that. And I think you're a prime example of that today. So
thank you.
Before we go further, I want to. So that story about your mom being ashamed, essentially, at the beginning of your rap career.
Yeah.
So when you're going through this phase of your life, I'm guessing you're 17, 18, around there, right? Some people are going to school. Some people are, you said your parents are highly educated, right?
Right.
I'm guessing you probably felt this sort of social pressure of oh, maybe I should be going to school instead. So what kind of went down in your head that made you double down on this music thing rather than just trying to pursue the common path that everybody else is going down?
Well, just after I started making it, the love that I found, I fell in love with making music, and I've always just been one to, I'm stubborn, I don't try to be stubborn. I'm not deliberately stubborn, but it's just in my nature to be stubborn. I just want to do what I want to do. Sometimes it might not be the best thing, but if I'm wanting to do something and someone's nagging me not to do it, that kind of makes me want to do it more. You know, so like having my mom not supporting me, having my friends not supporting me, having like the closest people around me not supporting me the way I was expecting it off the bat. Those are all things that made me be like, yo, like I'm doing this like by fire, by force, and you're gonna see one day when I make it to where I want to make it. You're gonna be proud of me. You're gonna be there. You know, I'm not gonna hold any hard feelings. Like that's my mom. I love my mom, and she's my biggest friend and like one of my best friends. One day when I'm selling out tours and selling out arenas, I want my mom to be right there with me backstage. But those are all things, people not believing in me and me having to believe in myself. Those are what pushed me. Those are what made me to stick with music. Apart from the love and the passion that I found in it.
For sure. And I think there's a really important message in there where even the people that are closest to you, and they might not believe in you, but and even they might put you down and, you know, doubt you all sometimes, but you just can't give up on yourself, right? You have to have that continuous belief in your purpose and what you want to achieve. And and I think you've shown that, and like you said, you kind of won your mom over, and even now you've made a switch from. And I think that also plays a factor because when close ones around you, they kind of push you down. Then it kind of forces you to just, you know, kind of get out of your shell, right? And you have to like empower yourself, and you have to learn how to love yourself and believe in yourself, right, on a regular basis.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to dig deeper with the. Obviously, you've gone through a lot of struggles trying to come up in the music industry, right? Would you mind sharing, or would you be comfortable sharing one, say like a point where you felt real low, like how you got over that and what that struggle really was?
Well, there was this one promotion company I was working with. You know, I'm not gonna go into detail and say their names, but I had invested a lot of money with them. Like we'd done a string of shows, and the first string of shows we did were really successful. So I was like, okay, let's do more. Invested more money with them, and the show that we were planning it for, you know, we had to change the venue at last minute, and then we had to pay more for another venue. So long story short, I ended up losing a lot of money, and I was like, this was early in my career still, and I was like, wow, like I'm down 10K right now. Like I don't even know if I want to continue chasing this rabbit down this hole because of the money that I've lost. But then I just sat down with myself. I'm like, look, if I'm doing this for pursuit of financial gain, I'm in the wrong business, you know, because you got to spend money to make money. You have to go through those struggles before you will get to the point of where you're now, you know, where I'm now getting paid to do shows, where I'm getting paid to do features, paid for appearance, paid for all this stuff, people supporting me financially. You have to go through those struggles.
You have to invest in yourself.
You have to invest in yourself. Back to our earlier point, you know, look at Rick Ross, for example. He was rapping for 10 years before he blew up and like became Rick Ross, before MMG. He was rapping for 10 years. I'm sure there's so many other artists, your favorite artists. I might not know their story, but I can guarantee you that they were rapping for a long time underground before anyone knew about them. I remember J. Cole. I saw a tweet from J. Cole, like what was it, like from like 2010 or maybe earlier, some tweet, and he's like, oh, just hit 500 Twitter followers. I know it's not much, but like I'm so grateful for all you guys, and now he's one of the biggest names on the planet. So you have to go through those hardships, those times where you might lose money, lose friends, and you're like, look, I don't even know if I want to keep doing this. Those are the difference between the good and the great. I played sports growing up, so I know when I'm down in the third period, those are the times where great players shine because the rest of the team might be hanging their head, oh, the game's over. But the game's not over till the final buzzer. My life isn't over until the coffin closes. I'm going to keep pushing no matter what, whether it's easy, whether it's hard. And if I can't push through those hard times, I shouldn't be there in the first place. That's how I look at it. So just having that fighter's mentality, you know, wanting to achieve it no matter what, whether the end result is what I want, as long as I can look myself in the mirror and say, I gave it all I got, I did my best, back to the drawing board for the next game, back to the drawing board for the next tour, for the next whatever, I'm ready, I'm here, I'm going to go, doesn't matter who's on my side, I know God is on my side, that's all I need. Those are the things that, you know, push me past those points when I don't want to keep going, but I continue to keep going.
Yeah.
Do you think? Sorry.
No, for sure.
Do you think like this maturity and this vision that you have, essentially, do you think it's a product of like tough hardships you faced growing up, or where do you attribute this to?
It definitely is, you know, like a big attribute for my maturity would be my mom. You know, growing up in an immigrant household, like she was raised in Nigeria. That's a whole different world. Like most of us wouldn't even last a week in Nigeria, you know, let alone be raised. I'm sure your parents came from their own, you know, wherever you India, you know, yeah. We wouldn't last a week growing up in India, you know. It's a whole different lifestyle that our parents came from and now raising us into here. So my mom didn't conform to the Western style of raising kids. You know, she was strict. She had her rules, and they had to be followed. Like my mom is a no nonsense woman. God bless her. You know.
Yeah.
So her being who she is and holding us to a high standard at a young age, those are all things that allowed me to be mature at a young age. Because like, even when I was say elementary, early junior high, like I'd goof off in class. I get in trouble, but I'd still do well in class, and I was still like I said, I was always one of the youngest in my class due to when I started school, but I was still always one of the most mature because of the home training, you know, the things that my mom instilled in my mind at a young age, having integrity, working hard, being honest, being trustworthy, being responsible, being reliable. These are all things that my mom just hammered into my head from a young age. And even, you know, when I went through my periods of time where being hard-headed and doing my thing, like I still had that in the back of my mind, and which is why I am who I am today, going through my upbringing, going through my trials and tribulations, and then, you know, coming back to who I am and looking myself in the mirror and getting back to myself. Those are all things that make me to be mature. And even like when I'm with my girlfriend, sometimes she's like, "Yo, like, chill out, like, stop, you know, cut all this father figure adulthood." I'm like, yo, I'm not even trying. Like, I'm not even trying. Like, I'm just being myself. Like, I'm sorry it comes across like that sometimes. I'm just being myself. I have seen both sides of the coin, you know, so to speak. So I know where I want to stand. I know what I want to do. I know who I want to be, and I know that what I put out is what I will get back. The maturity, the respect I put out is what I'll get back. If I'm going about my business like a child, I'll get treated like a child. So
yeah, that's really insightful that you share that, and I appreciate you sharing it. I guess going on from there, you do mention, you know, being at some low points and believing in yourself, but I guess I also want to touch light on like obviously you know, people show a lot of love to you, and but you know, you do get like people do say some sort of, you know, negative comments or hateful comments, and even if they don't know who you are, right?
Mhm.
They just judge you even without knowing you based on assumptions, and they'll make comments. And I think being at the level you are, you know, being like I'd say a social figure in the city, how do you deal with that? Because you see a lot of that with social media these days, and you know that's I think, and you probably experience it at a higher level than, you know, what just someone who has a regular kid on Instagram does. So how do you deal with something like that?
I don't hear it. I just don't hear it. You know, if someone wants to send me a hate comment, I don't hear it. Someone wants to send me a hateful DM, I don't see it. Someone wants to say, "Hey, yo, go screw yourself." I don't hear it. Like, I'm just in my own lane, and I know with that lane I'm in, there's gonna come people who are naysayers, people who want to sidetrack me, people who, you know, they have nothing better to do with their time, their energy, and they just want to bring other people down. Lots of times, not even personal, you know, like. I used to hate Drake when I was like in grade 7. Like I hated it. He was like just coming up, and I was like, "Yo, this guy's whack." Me and all my friends, we didn't like Drake, you know, just for the sake of being a hater. Yeah. There's people like that, so I honestly don't hear it. I'm just like, I'm in my lane. It doesn't matter what you say because you don't define me. You could say whatever you want, whether it's good or bad. It doesn't define me. The things that define me are the actions, the way I treat people, the way I carry myself. Those are all traits that define me. So. I just don't hear the hate, man. I just stay
that's good, man. And it's like you said, you know, focusing on yourself. And I think lots of people say, you know, hateful comments is a lot more about the person who's saying it rather than you, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing that a little bit there. So I mean, just going to a close here, but also just talking about, you know, the future. You know, what's the vision for OG and YEGMG?
Well, I'm dropping my album. I'm going to announce the name and the cover at a later date, you know. Okay. But right now I'm working on my album. I'm going to aim to drop it like end of October, beginning of November. I have strings of shows. I got a show next Sunday, August 4th. I got August 16th with Burna Boy. I got shows in September. I'm going to be down in Calgary, actually, doing some big fashion shows. It's going to be like 5,000 people. And I'm performing at the main event on the runway while models are walking by. So, I'm going to continue doing shows and elevating and spreading myself all across Canada. In December, I plan to go back home to Nigeria. I want to get some shows going down there. So the future for me is just being hungrier and hungrier and hungrier, wanting to achieve more, wanting to help more people, wanting to change more, always trying to do more. That is what my future consists of.